25 before the hour. This hour is being sponsored. There's a website, democracyinaction.org, and Jude sent me a link about this attack. Did you hear about this? You've heard of the Nuns on the bus, these committed Catholic sisters who are going around the country trying to educate people, if people are still educatable, about the horror of the Ryan budget, the Romney presidency or candidacy, and trying to educate people, not necessarily from a standpoint of vote for this one, don't vote for that one, but what budget cuts, no matter who does them, how those cuts will affect. Because, Obama has proposed, he put an offer out that if the Republicans would have accepted it, instead of being the dumbasses that they are, I'm talking about in political terms, Obama proposed deep cuts into the social safety net. So, let's not, once again, let's not pretend, okay? Let's not pretend that President Obama is a liberal. He is not. Let's not pretend that he is a political progressive. He is not. I mean, you can identify him any way you want, but for heaven's sake, at least identify him in a political sense correctly. It will help you make up your mind as to what you're going to do in a week, if you're going to do anything. But I digress. From democracyinaction.org, last week the Nuns on the bus went to Ohio, visiting local social service agencies and speaking out about how draconian federal budget cuts could endanger the poorest and most vulnerable people in our society. But when the sisters rolled into the town of Marietta, Ohio, they were met by a crowd of angry right-wing protesters who called them fake nuns and swung signs labeling their tour as the highway to hell and bums on the bus. Many of these protesters were recruited by a local Catholic parish, where the priest invited right-wing activists to distribute an ugly screed falsely accusing the sisters of, quote, espousing radical ideology, end quote. The priest is John Michael Campbell. John Michael Campbell, Campbell, in Marietta, Ohio. You can figure out how to get in touch with him if you want to. But there's a petition at this website. It's salsa.democracyinaction.org. And then you can find the petition if you want to. I signed it. But this is so like these teabaggers, these Republicans. They are mindless. They are the brown shirts, and they are used by the political right and the religious right. They are used as the brown shirts were used by Hitler before he was able to take power. And remember what happened once he did to the brown shirts. Remember, history calls it the night of the long knives. So for you teabaggers that do this kind of stuff, shame on you. And just take a look at your historical precedent. And the only place, I know it has occurred in many countries, on the continent of Africa, on the Asian continent, in South America. It's occurred in Europe, all over the place. But the ready, easily understood model is what happened to the German people, the Christians. But for a Catholic priest to organize a vicious right-wing protest against nuns who are not advocating anything other than how the federal budget cuts are going to endanger the poor and the most vulnerable in our society. This priest is the type who would have gladly shoved a sword into Jesus' crotch when he was on the cross. He doesn't care about what Jesus taught. The nuns do. I mean, if you see, here I go again. It just fascinates me. I can't stay away from it. I mean, it just fascinates me that this kind of thing is happening in the first place, that anybody in this country still follows religious mind control. Even the nuns on the bus. There are ways to do exactly what the nuns are doing, and dropping all the religious pretense. Get rid of the fantasy and work hardcore to help folks who need help. If you take that as your avocation, okay, good for you. It's a good thing. But the reward is in the doing. There's no reward. It even says in the Bible that you're saved by faith, not by the deeds that you do. So, see, I keep doing it. I'm sorry. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. I get very hung up in this stuff. I really do, because I can't believe what is going on. I can't believe, and it's not just in this country, but it's just hard for me to accept how much religion is being used to push people to the point where they will willingly murder each other.